The knife does not have the best reputation in Darktide, and a large part of that is because a lot of zealots who use the knife become a burden to their teams. It has the best mobility of any melee weapons in the game, with great sprinting as well as dodges, which tempts inexperienced zealot players into dashing into large groups of enemies or running far ahead of their squad and either failing their dodges, dying too far away to be rezzed, or getting crowd controlled by a disabler and killed shortly after. This video aims to show you a way to play Knife Zealot effectively in Damnation and not only contribute but also carry your team. Let's start with the feats. The feats for Knife Zealot are 2, 1, 3, 2, 2 and 1 in the final branch, focusing on toughness damage reduction from crit and getting your ultimate back up as soon as possible when you crit enemies. My variation replaces Thy Wrath Be Swift in the level 20 feat branch with Holy Revenant, and it's the setup I've been using to consistently win games in high intensity Damnation because I am not the most mechanically skilled player. Holy Revenant acts as a safety net that gives me a little more room for error to make mistakes or account for more volatile enemy encounters, and gives me the confidence to play extra aggressively, like in this clip here where I took critical death damage but healed back to more than 60% of my total HP with the feat. I recommend Holy Revenant if you're not extremely confident in your movement yet, and Thy Wrath Be Swift once you're a little more experienced playing with the knife, although it is fine to switch the two depending on your personal preference. Now that we have covered the feats, let's talk about Knife Zealot's playstyle in Damnation. The responsibility of Knife Zealot in Damnation is to pull aggro from enemies while keeping your toughness damage reduction up, distract or kill specials, assist allies in need, and be the main person to revive allies, as you usually have the toughness damage resist up and can tank shots during res more easily. Damnation, and especially high intensity Damnation, which is where I spend most of my playtime recording these clips, can be very hectic. Things are always happening, and the mobility the knife gives me is an insanely valuable asset that lets me play both point and rear guard for my team. Rotation is a key word I would like you to keep in mind here, as only with the knife will you be able to both watch your team's flank for flamers, which likes to sneak up on your team, and also immediately rotate back to the front of the squad and scout the way or ping any specials. As a Knife Zealot, you are the glue that holds your team together, especially in public games. In public games, some players have a tendency to run ahead and leave their teammates behind, which can create hairy situations if the last person gets pinned down by a disabler like a trapper, hound or mutant, and then more enemies show up to kill them. The speed of the knife lets me keep track of all of my teammates and be the first to arrive to help them when no one else can. This is very important because enemies do a lot of damage in Damnation, and leaving a teammate downed on the ground for just a couple extra seconds could mean the difference between a successful res and having to rescue them after they die. All of the gameplay I do in Damnation is with the Flamer, as it's the best ranged weapon overall, and the one downside of its slow deployment time is often mitigated by the knife's mobility, letting you get into an ideal position to deploy it. Other options are also viable, such as the revolver, for its ranged stagger. It can reliably stagger pox hounds off teammates and has an insanely fast draw, letting you shoot instantly and switch seamlessly back to melee. The braced or infantry autogun is also very good, but has less reliable instant stagger through hordes, but does more damage overall than the revolver. The Cantrail MGX-12 is a good gun, but personally I do not like it on the Zealot as it feels like too much standing still and aiming. However, it does do a lot of damage to most enemies. For Curio I go between full toughness or full HP base. I feel that HP ends up making me tougher, since the times you take damage is when your toughness breaks before you can react. Shotgunners, shooters, and a lot of enemies do bonus damage to toughness. Toughness feels best in ideal situations, while HP gives you a more consistent leeway. Sniper resistance is good in general, as snipers can sometimes appear and quickscope you. Stamina is good since it lets you shove attack more, which is higher DPS than normal heavies. Block efficiency also helps, while resing and sprint efficiency lets you keep full stamina more easily while sliding. That's all.